I'm Borelstein, and I have an unpretentious, non-pretentious, a review of Aftersun 2022 that is lacking in pretense. So, I already had a video about this movie, but I wanted to actually have a review where I have more time to talk about what I like about the movie and talk about the most important aspect of the movie is relatability and what the fuck happens in the narrative. So in my other video, I had mentioned that this movie is like Ghost Story if you couldn't get into Ghost Story, but maybe you like the subject matter. The reason I say that is because Ghost Story is about death. And Ghost Story is a movie that leaves the viewer uncomfortable for like an hour and a half while they wrestle with what the fuck does dying mean to me? And that's the experience. Because there's nothing on screen for you to really grab at other than this guy fucking died and the person that he was with mourns him and then fucking leaves. And then he's just stuck. He's just stuck fucking lingering. That's the thing. But this movie's a bit different, but it's also similar in that it involves death. So, if you want to watch the movie, go fucking do it before I just lay everything out there. So, this movie is expertly fucking designed and executed. This is a fucking phenomenal 10 out of 10 fucking movie. One of the first scenes, it literally hits the ground snoring. I'm not fucking joking. The movie starts and Sophie is in bed sleeping. The first issue that we have in the film is that the Callum dad, he wanted a hotel with 2 beds and they have a hotel with 1 bed, and it's dad and daughter's 11 years old, so it's a little inappropriate. And that's kind of being sorted out. Sophie gets the bed. Dad goes outside and he's smoking. And the camera is really close to Sophie. We hear her snoring. We hear her breathing. And we see Dad and he's outside smoking. And he's kind of feeling himself. He's dancing a little bit. And this goes on for fucking ever. The movie trains you right from the get-go. It's like, if you cannot handle this scene, get the fuck out now. Because this isn't for you. If you can't handle that opening scene where nothing's fucking happening, the rest of the movie is going to bore you to tears. You are not a person for this film, and that is not okay. You should be somebody who can handle and tolerate art in all forms. And if you cannot handle that, you need to train yourself better. So, anyway, the film tells us what it's going to be like right away, because the first scene is boring as sin. Then, like the next scene or so, we got camcorder recording some kind of historical thing. It's on like a little VCR kind of TV, because this movie takes place in like the late 90s or something. And if you didn't get it, Sophie is an 11-year-old girl from Scotland who came to visit her dad who was living in Turkey. And her parents are not together. So, what happens? Well, the movie primarily is just the memoirs of Sophie thinking back on her dad during this trip. And I guess I won't belabor the revelation. I wouldn't call it a twist, because we get flashes of Callum / dad in what looks like a rave, and we get flashes from adult Sophie. So clearly there's something there. We have adult Sophie, but when we see Callum in this rave, where we see adult Sophie, Callum's the same age. Did you get it? Your brain did. Yeah, Callum's fucking dead. Callum's just fucking dead. And the film doesn't explicitly say that. I mean, it basically says that. You know, the ending is phenomenal. It is gut fucking punching, heart-rendering fucking brutal. And it's not even depicting anything sad. It's because what you know as the audience and what this means. This movie, at its deepest level of intimacy, is like watching someone else's memories. And it does not feel like it is for you. It feels like it is for someone else. It feels, at the height of this film's artistic integrity, this feels like you are watching someone's catharsis on screen. This is the greatest depiction of art possibly on the planet. It is beautiful. It is incredible. The cinematography is so well done, so consistent. It really focuses in on what is important. So, what are the themes? The themes are Sophie is coming of age, and the film, I think, primarily depicts this through burgeoning, like, kind of sexuality, honestly. There is an interesting kind of focus on what Sophie is attending to, and it's not the adults, but it is the older kids, the fact that they're making out, the fact that they're in cooler swimsuits and all that kind of stuff. There's one part in the movie where she is wearing her swimsuit under this dress, and Callum kind of asks, oh, why do you have your swimsuit on? And it's probably because, well, one, it's the only one that's kind of like a two-piece that she has. Otherwise, all the other ones are one-pieces. But also, it's kind of like, oh, it's like I'm wearing underwear almost or something, right? It's something that's kind of building that feeling of, mature sexualization that she's kind of experiencing. It sounds a little pedophilic to discuss the sexuality of an 11-year-old girl, but that's just the content of the film. And that's a thing that every person goes through. So if you're uncomfortable with that, you got to grow up. Sorry, art isn't for you. So, in the movie, Sophie and Dad are just hanging out, and we get these really amazing scenes. So, another theme is the idea of memory and how we remember things and how we record things. So, there's a part where Sophie wants to do like an interview with Callum, and he kind of like says no, and he kind of puts his foot down about it. And then there are other things where she's recorded where they're watching stuff on the camera. So there are times, the old kind of cool thing where it's like, okay, we have this scene, but imagine the scene, but the camera is looking at a mirror and you're seeing the scene from what the mirror is reflecting. This movie has that with the TV. It has it with, you're watching it on camcorder, you're watching it reflected in mirrors and windows. It's always playing with this idea of what you're seeing is secondhand. You're supposed to have the idea that these memories, it's not that they're wrong, it's not that they're false, but that they're aged, they're faded. They are simulacrums of what was real. They are not actually there anymore. And we get that confirmed at the end of the film, because at the end of the film, adult Sophie is sitting on a table and she's watching the camcorder record her leaving her dad for the last time. Because she's probably trying to make sense of this still in her life. So there are all these cool scenes where we are seeing the film through not a third party, but in a sense, we're seeing it through a reflection, because the film is about reflections. It's about Sophie reflecting on why her dad, presumably, all evidence points to suicide. Why did he do it? And if you watch the movie and you're paying attention, you have ample evidence that supports this. This is where the video turns into the ending explained, top 10 reasons why Callum kills himself at the end of Aftersun. Number 1, like that. Off the top of my head, Callum just walks into the street without giving a fuck in the world. He presumably spends all of his money to buy a rug for Sophie. When 50 pounds was a lot of money for him to spend, and he buys a $750 rug. Ooh. And we know he doesn't have money. The film shows us that because they're at the hotel, and Sophie doesn't have the all access pass, so she can't get all the sodas or whatever, but this other girl does, and she's like, oh, I'm leaving here, you can have this. So that explains what's going on there, that like, oh, they couldn't have the cool stuff. And also the hotel that they were at wasn't the best, obviously, because they didn't have fucking 2 beds for him, right? But the biggest thing is I think the best thing is how the film depicts Sophie and Callum's relationship, is that it's so expertly acted. The girl who plays Sophie, I think, might be one of the greatest, if not the greatest, child performances in human history. I don't think anything else compares. I think she actually does a better job than Callum. I think she does a better job than the dad. Her performance makes this movie what it is. Actually, adult Sophie is the worst actress in the movie. She's terrible because she doesn't have any room to do anything. She just sits there. There isn't really anything there for her to do, unfortunately. But yeah, Sophie, whatever the actress is, was phenomenal. This movie is amazing because I actually remember the characters in the movie's name, Sophie and Callum, right? So early on, there's this phenomenal scene where Sophie and Callum are just hanging out by the pool. And Sophie kind of goes on this little monologue about like, oh, like, sometimes I look up at the sky during playtime and I think about how, that's the sky and you can see the sky and you can see the sun the same time I can see the sun, and how, like we're under the same sun. So like, it's kind of like we're together when we're not. And Callum maybe kind of he doesn't really respond to this, he just kind of, oh, okay, that's the thing. And it kind of just fiddles out. It just kind of fizzles out. But when that comes up, that was just so powerful. It was such a beautiful reflection by her character to bridge the gap that she has with her dad, who's living in another country. She doesn't understand why the fuck any of this shit's happening. She doesn't understand why he had to run away, any of these things, right? So that is just, I mean, when that came, I was just, it's not even sad, but I just started getting choked up a little bit. I was like, oh no, I know what's going to happen. I just realized that the MS offset is not anything. So let's change that. So maybe it'll be better now. Hopefully it doesn't fuck the audio up. Okay. So anyway, where was I going? Yeah, so the actress that plays Sophie, phenomenal, 10 out of 10. And getting more into the thing that's like the beast that is lingering in the story of Callum's suicide. There's a scene in this movie that was literally me so hard. There's a scene where it's near the end of the film. They're kind of going on a day trip and it's Callum's birthday. And nothing has been said about this. He didn't make any big deal about this at all or anything. And Callum is at the top of what looks to be a little bit of like a hill / mountain kind of thing. But yeah, and everyone's kind of like down below. And Sophie gets all the other tourists to like sing a happy birthday song to him. And, she does this and he's just kind of looking down. And when the scene cuts and we go to the next scene, it's just Callum naked in the hotel room, sobbing into his hands. Now, did Sophie actually see Callum naked and sobbing into his hands? Probably not. But we get to see that because either that was how he felt or that was just what he did later on. And maybe that sounds like an insane thing to experience after feeling such a kind of beautiful, expression of like love and attention. That feels probably insane maybe to like if you're mentally healthy. But if you're mentally unwell, the idea of people in your life caring so much for you to make this grand gesture for you, or to see a group of people engaging in some, very kind and sweet activity towards you is just absolutely like soul rendering painful, because it almost creates this kind of obligation to be like sticking around even though you want nothing but that. Or it's such a beautiful moment that how can anything else top this, that I should just die right now? Why the fuck should I keep going on? How's it gonna get better than this? I'm already fucking miserable and these little moments don't make it better. It's such a powerful fucking moment. I absolutely love it. There's another one where he's like just on the balcony, literally standing on the handrail of the balcony of their hotel. And it's like, what the fuck is he doing? And he's trying to do all this self-help stuff. He's trying to do all this like karate meditation. There was like a thing that happened where like he tries to teach Sophie like how to defend herself. Just all these things that are just big, interesting kind of signs. But the next one that hits the hardest in the movie is they're chilling out during the day. They're in the hotel and Sophie's just laying on the bed and she's just basically describing what sounds like childhood depression, where she's like, do you ever just kind of like, you get done doing something and you just don't feel good, and it wasn't that it was bad, but you just don't really feel anything and you're just kind of like waiting for the next thing to happen or something. And we see this shot looking in the mirror. Callum is like to the left basically, and we're seeing kind of Callum's reaction to hearing this, and he just spits in the mirror. Why did he spit? He spit because he realizes that Sophie has the same thing that he has. Sophie has and is developing depression the same way maybe he did, and that terrifies him. His daughter has the same thing that he's struggling with, that he ran away to deal with, and it wasn't enough. It is just so brutal. And the film isn't like, oh, the time with my dad in Turkey was amazing, I miss him so much, I wish he didn't kill himself. It's not even like that at all. It almost doesn't even feel good. It only feels good in the context of these two people together. I think if anyone else was on that holiday, they'd be like, "Yeah, that kind of sucked." But it feels good because it was so meaningful to those people, and that is the most important type of intimacy in any relationship. Father-daughter, father-son, whoever the fuck, anything is fucking phenomenal. It's so fucking good. The next biggest kind of thing in the film is, apparently every year they sing REM's "I'm Losing My Religion," and they do it karaoke. And Sophie signed him up. But Callum doesn't want to do it this year. So she goes down and does it herself. And you just sit there with her singing the song by herself, and it's so fucking awkward. And it's like, Callum, that was the song that you like had your daughter sing with you every year? Like, damn, dude, you are fucking depressed. That's the song that like she fondly thinks about when she thinks about you. A song that's that depressing? Holy shit. But it gets worse. So like the ass end of the film, it's like fucking one night left, and they go to some, I don't know, just dancing, whatever bar, tourists are hanging out, and Callum's dancing around, and I think Sophie doesn't want to dance, maybe. I kind of forget. And Sophie does dance, and then this is where the film starts mirroring shit. I might start getting choked up just thinking about it now. I feel it in my throat. It's happening. When I think back in the scene, it starts happening. Oh my God. So we have Sophie, we have young Sophie, and we have Callum. And guess what song's playing? Queen, Under Pressure. Doesn't sound like that sad of a song, but let's check out the lyrics. Let's go see. Queen, Under Pressure. Let's go check these lyrics out. Let's see how they land. Not the boom boom da da boo boo. That's not the lyrics, okay? So where's the good part? Where's the good part? Why can't we give her not that part? Where's the part? Where the fuck is the basically, I forget. Anyway, they get some good lyrics, but the most important part is the ending part of the song where it's like, this is our last dance. This is our last dance. This is our last dance. This is ourselves under pressure. Callum's under pressure. He's under pressure to not fucking kill himself. And it is just, oh wait, David Bowie's fucking, I thought only Queen was involved in this fucking song. David Bowie and Queen. Little did I know. Holy shit. Anyway, holy shit, right? So Sophie and Callum are dancing. Under Pressure is playing. And it's like, this is our last dance under pressure. And then we also get like this intersplice. I think this happens at the same time, or maybe it's after they walk to the airport, but either way, then we have adult Sophie, and she's going through the crowd in this like rave. And if you haven't figured it out yet, Callum he's done drugs. He's done it. You get the sense that he has tried everything to beat his depression. He's tried living a life of excess. He's tried every drug. He kind of says that to Sophie. They're like, oh, you can talk to me about all that kind of stuff. Like, I tried everything. You should be able to try everything. He's tried meditation. He's tried martial arts. He's tried all these things to make him be able to tolerate this gay earth, and nothing has fucking worked for him. He's ready to end it. So Sophie, in the search for trying to understand her dad, is in that environment mentally. She's trying to go through the things that he did to understand why he killed himself. So at the end of the film, we have adult Sophie and Callum, and it's really like kind of like the lights go off. It's like strobe light. It's really hard to tell what the fuck's going on. And her and Callum are kind of like dancing, and then it seems like either he falls away and he just starts falling back. It doesn't seem like Sophie pushes him or anything, but he just falls and he's gone, and then that's it. And then the film ends with just a camera is just panning like that, and we just see Sophie sitting on the couch. She watched the videotape back of her dad saying goodbye to her at the airport for the last time, and then that's it. And then that's just it. That's just it. I'm gonna get choked up if I talk about the ending anymore. But it is just a 10 out of 10. If I sat through the whole fucking credits, I'm just sitting there and I'm just letting myself be fucking destroyed watching this. It's so beautiful. It is so good. So yeah, if you like art at all, The fact if you are not watching Aftersun immediately when I'm done talking, I mean, I don't know, why'd you let yourself get spoiled, I guess, right? Why would you ruin the movie? But if it took that much to get you to fucking watch the movie, then you need to go watch the movie right fucking now. This is the first fucking thing that you should do following me telling you to go watch the movie is watching the fucking movie right now. That's what I have to say.